This weekend in sports was crazy. We had records being set, coaches causing controversy, WWE pay-per-view matches that didn't meet the bar. But let's start with the number one topic in sports, the face of the WNBA, Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark got the first ever triple-double in Indiana Fever franchise history, the first ever triple-double by a WNBA rookie. Every time this woman steps on the court, she's doing something that we've never seen before. She is officially the face of the league. There's no doubt about it. The numbers don't lie, whether it's viewership, whether it's ticket attendance. She's doing sold out dates. She's selling out every single arena. And I don't mean the little girl arenas. I mean the big girl arenas, the NBA arenas. No disrespect to any Chicago Sky fan or Las Vegas Aces fans that are out there. When Caitlin Clark comes into play, they bring out the big girl arenas for her. Just check the facts. Now, as far as the Indiana Fever, they've been playing much better. I'm so happy they've bought into this playing with pace style. Like, if you look at the stats, their first 9 games, okay, it was a brutal schedule. Let's be honest. They had no practice time. But ever since those first 9 to 10 games, they're top 3 in pace. And that's going to be big for the team because you have a generational passer at the point guard position. So all you have to do is run the floor and she's going to find you. Aaliyah Boston has somehow become the unsung hero, but I love this woman's energy in her pregame and her postgame conferences. Just on the court, she just has good energy, and she seems like a very supportive teammate. And to be honest, she's a very efficient big, and you need that in the W. Now let's talk about the other record that was set this weekend, and that's Angel Reese with 13 straight consecutive double-doubles, which it's almost hard to believe because you would figure that any WNBA player who's averaged a double-double for the season would have broken that record, but no. So what she's doing cannot be minimized. Like, if you didn't watch her at LSU, she was damn near generational rebounder at LSU. She averaged 15 rebounds a game last season. So we knew the rebounding would translate. But people were wondering if she would get enough points. Now she's averaging 14 points a game. And I'm telling you now, any other year, she'll be the clear-cut favorite for Rookie of the Year. I hear you about her efficiency. She's not that efficient, but it doesn't matter. The girl is still out there showcasing her talent every night. Like I said, any other year, she would be the favorite for Rookie of the Year, but she's not my Rookie of the Year. Now, I do want to talk about the Chicago Sky because I watched that game against the Seattle Storm yesterday, and I was very confused. Why did Camila Cardoso, who was flirting with a triple-double with blocks in the first half, just get 5 minutes in the second half? What was going on with that? I heard the post-game comments from Spoon where she said that, she went with the flow of the game. Well, the flow of the game was telling you that your bigs were getting dominated by Aneka in the second half. So why is Cardoso riding the bench? Honestly, Cardoso's minutes for the season don't make sense to me. Like, I know she's had a bit of an adjustment period, but you can't teach 6'7". It's not like her guards are doing her any favors by giving her these terrible post-entry passes. Same thing with Angel. Angel's numbers would be actually a little bit better if her guards could find her in the post properly. To wrap it up for the WNBA, Caitlin Clark is your front runner for Rookie of the Year. I don't care what the analysts try to spew on ESPN or these other 3 to 4 letter networks. When someone is generating the most points for the WNBA, for all players, not just rookies, that tells you everything you need to know. Like, in any other year, she might get MVP consideration, especially if her team is in the top 6 seeds. Like, what she's doing is unheard of. She is generational. And because her playmaking is top 2, not even top 3, her playmaking is top 2. I don't know if you want to remove Alyssa Thomas out of here or you want to remove Chelsea Gray, the point guard, out of here, but she got better playmaking skills than one of those two. I'm not going to name who I think it is, but her playmaking is top 2 in the W already. And you couple that with how she warps defenses with her three-point gravity. Like, teams are face guarding her 94 feet away from the basketball. Like, it's insane the kind of coverage she's seen. She's the most blitzed player on ball screens. Like, what are we doing here? This is not a conversation. She's the most impactful rookie by far. I want to talk about Money in the Bank. So I am an avid wrestling fan, and I'll be honest. When Roman Reigns decided he was going to take a little siesta, a little break from wrestling, a little vacay, whatever you want to call it, I didn't tune in as much. But I did tune in for this Money in the Bank pay-per-view event. And let me tell you, that thing was a 6 out of 10 at best. Between the botches and just the matches in general were just not super exciting. Like, the women's ladders match was great, but you had a few botches. Hopefully Zoe Stark is okay because she did bounce her head very awkwardly. Io, to me, definitely stole the show. But you know how Io is. She's a high flyer. And Tiffany Stratton winning the Money in the Bank briefcase was the right call. So it all makes sense. Everything happened the way it's supposed to happen. So that match, I didn't have a problem with. The men's Money in the Bank match, storyline-wise, after the match, no problem. I know a few fans are upset that the Money in the Bank briefcase does not matter this year for the men's division. But it makes sense. Like, think about it, guys. They're building this Seth, Drew, and CM Punk storyline to be bigger than any storyline that Cody Rhodes could be in. Sorry, didn't want to throw a shot at Cody Rhodes, but like, he's the worst champion I've seen in the years. And then you had a Braun Breaker and Sami Zayn. Now, I picked Sami Zayn to win because I know even though Braun Breaker has that super jetpack on his back right now, they weren't going to have him win. But man, this Sami Zayn Intercontinental Championship reign has been so forgettable. As soon as he left the bloodline, I knew it was curtains for that boy. The fall off is real. But hey, at least he'll keep his title for another month or two. We had the bloodline match versus Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and KO. The botch that you guys were talking about where somebody didn't execute the low blow properly. You do realize that man had a concussion, right? He had a freaking concussion. Like, he probably didn't know where he was. You're lucky he even was still out there because the way he bounced his head off that announcer's table, my God, he might need to be on the shelf for a couple weeks. I did forget about the Seth Rollins and Damian Priest match, and I like Damian Priest. I really do. But his reign is so forgettable as well. And then to couple that with the fact that something got botched, whether he had a concussion and he forgot to kick out, or the production team didn't hit Drew McIntyre's music in time, something got botched. So it made that whole scene look terrible. We feel bad for him because he's been working very hard on his gimmick, and just 1 second in a PLE got people questioning whether he should be the champion or questioning his talent, etc. Now, you guys know the Olympics are right around the corner. So let's talk about Team USA basketball. Now, with the women's side, I think if you follow me on social media, you already know that I think Caitlin Clark should be on that women's roster. I can almost make an argument for Angel Reese as well. It's kind of hard because the bigs on Team USA are really, really good. It's not a clear-cut case as with the guards where I could say DT's stats aren't better than Caitlin. Kelsey Plum really isn't better than Caitlin. Like, it's easier to make a case for Caitlin Clark because she's a guard. Now, with Angel Reese, it's a harder case, but I could still say, like, look, Angel Reese, she's a top 15 player in the W right now, and she's more popular than almost all those players. So let her in there. Let her in there. Like, grow your game. One thing you guys are not going to realize, all this overseas playing that they're doing, as soon as the new CBA comes in and that money increases, those salaries increases, those paychecks increase, they're not going to be playing overseas like that. So how are you going to be growing your overseas viewership? Get your 2 most popular players in the Olympics this year. Oh, well, they dropped the ball, so we'll see what happens in 2028. Now, for the men's Team USA team. I was Team Kyrie be on the Team USA, but I finally came around to Halliburton being on Team USA because you need more playmakers. Like, Team USA right now doesn't have a lot of playmakers, and I saw somewhere online that Halliburton generated at least top 3 in open shots for the entire NBA last year. So he is a really good playmaker, and you do need that. You have all the scorers. You have a bunch of good defenders too, so you do need some playmaking in FIBA ball. So I get it. And I'm excited to see them play. As far as the starting lineup, now that's tough because I'm very anti-Joel Embiid. Not just because he's playing for Team USA, even though he's French nationality and he's actually from Cameroon, but like the way he plays. Even in practice, he's doing foul baiting. Like there's a clip out there. You can go look for it on Twitter. He's still foul baiting in practice, bro. I just do not like the way that guy plays. But he has to be your starting center, most likely. So I'm thinking your starting lineup is going to be Steph, Braun, KD, Joel, and AD. It's a big starting lineup. But like, I mean, Braun basically plays a point guard. He's a facilitator. Anyway, like, or if you don't start AD, you start Tatum. But that's still a big starting lineup. It's not like Tatum is short. He's 6'9". But yeah, I could see, you know what? I'll take that back. Steph, Braun, Tatum, KD, and Joel Embiid as your starters. Sorry, Booker. I'm sorry you missed the number one option, Anthony Edwards. It's just not your time yet. Oh, guard is still here. It's still their time. This is their last hurrah. And they're still some of the best players, unlike the women's side with Diane Taurasi. It's not top 12.